contest station in special event station in Japan, I guess he was trying to get, and yeah, yeah, you got really bad P-click, 15 KC up and down from your carrier. And I looked on the SDR over in Utah, and yeah, sure enough, it's easy to find me. The note sounded good when you got to the carrier, but yeah, it was just hash off to the sides.
Well, I don't know at my TCK. I only used it a couple of times on CW, not during any kind of DX chasing or anything like that, but I'm sure it has its own little problems, such as that. One thing I cannot do is listen to my CW note via one of the receivers in the shack here to use it as a side tone. It's like pure hash. I've tried everything to try to attenuate the signal, like it's overloading the receivers, and it's just pure hash, so I kind of gave up. That's why but you know, I listened to a SDR receiver, and it sounds like a CW note, but boy, on the shack here, it's just pure, like, sounds like 60 hertz trash. So that's why I kind of been putting together a separate CW side tone that I can use with it, so I can actually hear myself.
Yeah, you know, it is tough trying to monitor yourself. The same thing, it overloads the receiver, and then you think, oh gosh, it sounds horrible, and it's, yeah, it's weird how always all kinds of 60 hertz garbage shows up on your note, and you think, oh man, I must have lost the power supply filter cap, and you find another receiver, same thing, and then you go ahead and take a look on the SDR receiver, and it's, no, the note's fine. So, but yeah, that's why I say I end up just using the BC2 or the LM221, and you know, since it's nothing more than a crystal set, it doesn't get overloaded, and it sounds real good, and it makes a clean note. And I got to use it anyhow with the RAL and the TDE to find what frequency I'm at. So yeah, it works pretty good for the CW monitor. I don't use earphones. I use a little cheapo amplified Bluetooth speakers, and just I plug that in, and I can listen, turn the volume down, and get a decent CW note. But yeah, I don't know what frequency I'm on. I don't know how many dB over S9 anybody is, and next time I turn it on, your frequency may be in a different place. But other than that, yeah, these old non-direct display radios, that's for sure. W6MQI. It's getting close. Net control should jump in. NU6F, standing by.
Yeah, W6MQI.
Well, I'll take that as a suggestion and do just that. This is WA7YBS, and I'm just checking a few things. Uh-oh. Well, this isn't a bad uh-oh, but just got to tweak a few little knobs. Okay? Wonderful. This is the Vintage Military Radio Net. I'll be your net control today. WA7YBS Henry and Dayton. And everybody knows the drill, so this is the pre-net warm-up. And we got a few minutes here before the official start time, which I never pay any attention to. I just start it when there's enough people. So anyway, in the number one spot was Bill. I heard Bill in there, but then, you know, that was just when I happened to, when the receiver happened to come up, and so Bill, N6BCT, you're number one, and in the number two spot's Ron, NU6F. Number three spot is Dave, W6MQI. Good morning to you guys. Let's see if there's anybody else. Number 4 is open. If you want to check into the Vintage Military Radio Net, pre-net warm-up, get checked in. Number 4 is open. Check in now.
DWC.
Well, W7MS.
Whiskey 6 Alpha Whiskey Oscar.
W6 SSP.
Okay, in the number 4 spot, we have Chuck, K0DWC. Morning, Chuck. And in the number 5 spot is Mike, W7MS. Good morning, Mike. And in the number 6 spot's Richard, W6AWO. Good morning, Richard. In the number 7 spot is Steve, W6SSP. Good morning, Steve. All of you guys have good, strong signals. And let's see if there's a number 8 out there. If you want to check in, be number 8. First go around. We'll check in right now. Well, that was some nice carrier, but no audio. Try it again. Well, that was dead airspace. Okay. Let's see. Let me run down the list one more time. Number 1, N6 BCT. Number 2, NU6F. Number 3, W6MQI. Number 4, K0DWC. Number 5, W7MS. Number 6, W6AWO. And number 7, W6SSP. I'm on the T368 as usual out in the shop where it is, let's see, it's 59 degrees. The Resonar heater has been on for an hour and 15 minutes. It went from 30 degrees out here to 53, 59. So we're warming up anyway. Receiver is the R725 Arvin Industries R390A with the Series 500 IF deck, no mechanical filters, built for Tropicom. So with that, let's get started. Up to Bill, N6 BCT. Go ahead, Bill, and we'll see how it goes. So with that, over to Bill. N6 BCT, WA7YBS Vintage Military Radio Net.
Good morning, all, and we're having a fun time here. We have a bank that has been closed for quite some time now, so we have to go an alternate route to get the ground, which is kind of fun. It's the longest journey to go to that, but we couldn't do it. So that's to say, we also have to get our mail down to the state building. And because people trying to go to avoid that there's maybe picked up needed person. Anyway, so that's what's going on. So it's going to do, let's see,
Okay, Bill, N6BCT, NU6F. All right, good strong signal from you this morning, and still a little tough to copy, but no change. And Ron NU6F, Lemon Valley, alongside the shores of Swine Lake, aka Swine Lake, per W7MS. But yeah, on the TD, still undergoing more shakedown cruises, and listening on the RCA 1939 contract RAL5, 160-foot long wire. And yeah, the phone app says it's snowing, but no, look outside, it's just overcast and high 20s somewhere. Okay, with that, down to raining Livermore, W6MQI, NU6F.
NU6F, W6MQI. Well, it stopped raining for now, so we'll see how the day progresses. All right, guys. Good morning, everybody. This is Dave in Livermore. And everybody's sounding really good. In fact, Bill's real loud here too today. But top dog is Henry on his T3. Sounded really good there, Henry. It's like full quieting here in Livermore. And I'm on the ART-13 D104 microphone, listening on the 75A4 receiver. And like I said, it was raining earlier, but not now. It's 46 degrees, and for those that operate on a normal numbering system, it's 6 degrees Celsius too, I guess. Somewhere in that range anyway. So over to Chuck, K0DWC, W6MQI.
Okay, Dave, W6MQI. Well, good morning to everybody. So far, so good. Bill has a nice, strong signal in here. I heard about 90% of what he said. And, his audio was what I would call legible. I could understand what he was saying, so I don't know what you did, Bill. I don't know if it's that or conditions or what, but I'm glad that you're up and running well. So way to go on that deal. We're running the ART-13 this morning, the rental ART-13 via W4DDQ, and listening on the R45/ARR7. I think the conditions seem to be pretty good over here this morning. I don't have any problems with the receiver as far as noise or anybody on the side or anything. Everybody's coming in nice, clear, and crisp, so hopefully that'll continue. Speaking on a T32 signal core microphone with the Electret module in it. So that's the rundown here. So with that, we'll send it over to Mr. Mike Student, W7MS. Who was my partner in crime Wednesday night. W7MS, K0DWC. Go ahead, Mike.
Okay, well, thanks, Chuck. W7MS here. Good morning to the Sunday morning vintage military net. And yeah, covered the weather report. It's what? Well, I'll give Henry the statistics. 27 degrees on the exterior, and 60 degrees within the environs of Studio B. So that's the weather report. And of course, again, good morning to all. And running we're doing the rotation. I figured that we're in the middle of winter time, and I haven't run some of the other radios that normally are not very efficient in summer propagation conditions. So here we are with the Bendix TA12 and listening on the Bendix RA1 microphoniums, the standard multi-purpose amplified D104, and of course the usual coax-fed dipole antenna. So good signals, and life is good. Yeah, thanks, Chuck, and also for Dave on Wednesday night. I showed up on upper sideband there on the green net, and was greeted with the, it worked out fine. It was a little hectic there, wasn't it, Chuck? With some folks that were operating on 3999 lower sideband who got upset with our upper sideband signals, but and rightfully so, but their reaction wasn't warranted. But due to an excellent gentleman in Colorado who was quite diplomatic, that was all ironed out, and we moved down in frequency. But it was a little strange. It was like 75 meters on a winter night, but a little bit of a different squeeze there between upper sideband and lower sideband. But enough of that. Over to Richard, and of course, good morning, W6AWO, W7MS.
Well, a cheerful good morning to you, Mike. Very good signals all around. This is W6AWO, high atop Inverness Ridge. Excellent signals. Dave, your top dog here, as is almost always the case, super signal from that ART-13, running the Dolan Boring, Johnson Viking 2, HRO60 coax leaf dipole, and of course the required D104. Mr. Zapper is with us. He zaps out 4 times and gets an answer 3 times. At least that's what I'm hearing here. But that's okay. Signals are good. No wrong with him. And going to turn it over to Steve and see how things are going up in Santa Rosa Way. W6SSP, W6AWO.
Okay, thank you, Richard, and good morning, one and all. This is Steve, W6SSP, just north of Santa Rosa. Running back to the usual equipment again, the 75A1 receiver and 32V1 transmitter into a dipole about 30 feet up, and of course D104 microphone with an original element, no less. So kind of neat. Conditions here are surprisingly clear. There's not a cloud in the sky. 32 degrees outside, about 47 degrees in the shack, but I'm all bundled up, so I don't care too much. And anyway, looking forward to a very, very nice day today. A little wind a little bit later, but that's okay. More leaves to clean up. So, back to the top. WA7 YBS, W6 SSP.
Okay, Steve. W6 SSP, WA7 YBS. Okay, good copy on everybody. Yeah, it was 23 degrees here outside, exterior, this morning, 5:45. So, and it's overcast, and it doesn't look real good, but it could be worse. So, that's the exterior weather report. Let's see if there's anybody else that wants to check in here. Number 8 is open, Vintage Military Radio Net. If you want to check in, be number 8. Check in now.
Victor, Quebec.
KD6 TKX, Tango Kilo X-ray.
Okay, I heard Carla and I heard Andy. So, W4DVQ, you're in the number 8 spot. KD6 TKX, you're in the number 9 spot. So Carla will turn it over to you, and you turn it back to me, provided nobody else checks in, which I'm going to ask for right now. Number 10 is open. If you want to check into the Vintage Military Radio Net, be number 10. Check in now.
W7MKA.
Okay, there's Robert, W7MKA. Okay, Andy, we'll turn it over to you, and let's see what transpires here. Number 11 is open. If you want to check into the Vintage Military Radio Net, do it now. Okay, Carla, number 8, W4DVQ, you turn it to Andy, KD6TKX, who is number 9, and number 10 is Robert, W7MKA, and Robert, turn it back to me, WA7YBS. So go ahead, Carla, W4DVQ.
Okay, WA7YBS. This is Whiskey 4 Delta Victor, Quebec. Good morning, guys. I thought I'd check in and say good morning. And I am on Chuck's, my ART-13 and Chuck's R45 and ARR47. Sorry. And, I was just going to do a quick check-in. I'll be good for another round, so I'm going to hand them over to Andy, KD6 TKX, to take it. This is Whiskey 4 Delta Victor, Quebec.
Okay, Carla, thank you. W4DVQ and the military radio. Not enough audio. Not sure what's going on here. But so I'll just keep it quick, and I will jump in on the next go-round with something that has full audio. Not sure what the deal is here. Oh well, I'm running the Collins TCB, so maybe it's letting me know I haven't run it enough lately. Up to you, Robert, if you can hear me. W7MKA in the military radio group. This is KD6 TKX.
All right, KD6TKX in the group, W7MKA. Well, pretty good signals in here today. I think I copied everybody, including Bill for the first time ever. We're on the BC610F and listening on the HROW this morning. It's a very black wrinkle setup. But not too much else to add. Back up to the top of WA7YBS to take it, W7MKA.
Okay, very good, Robert. W7MKA. WA7YBS. Yeah, Andy, your carrier is very strong. 80 dB on the carrier level meter. But, yeah, very pinched audio. And, of course, Carla's pounding in here on her ART-13. So, let's see. As far as antenna progress, well, we're not there yet. So we're still out in the shop, running the 2 half waves in phase, powered by this T368. And of course, the 2 half waves in phase is a 275 foot dipole, center fed, with 77 feet of open feed line to a Night Viking antenna tuner. And so that's the setup here. And let's see, I've been working because of the antenna situation where the tree fell down and smashed the inverted V. We've been using a pixel loop on receive in the house, and noticed quite a bit of problems with the pixel loop. It is not consistent as far as its response to signals. Its gain, well, you can call it gain. Let's just call it response. Its response to signals is highly dependent on the frequency, and it's odd because I don't get any signals on 40 meters or anything really below about 11 meg down to about maybe 4 meg. Between 11 and 4 meg there are virtually no signals. Then it picks up again about 12 meg on up. Does pretty good. And down in the medium wave part of the band, it seems to work okay. Anyway, it seemed odd that a pixel loop would act that way, have no gain in that part of the spectrum, 4 meg to about 11 or 12 meg. But that's what this one is doing. So anyway, we've erected, well, I wouldn't call it erected. We threw out the window a sloper. And so I have an 84-foot sloper that I'm using for receive now. And it works much better. So that's the report on what's going on here. So let's start round 2, and we'll shoot it on up to Bill, N6 BCT, round 2, finish military radio net. Go ahead, Bill.
Well, good morning, all. N6 Bravo Charlie Tango. We have a DCMF microphone, and I've got DNA and DNF thing turned on, and but I turned it off. So I don't know whether that's going to help with my audio. Anyway, welcome to W4GDQ and W86 PPS and also ran W7MKA and 6 BCG. I don't know whether he hears me or not with 25 watts, but that's less than a while around west. Anyway, let's see what I've got right now. It's about 38 degrees here, and we're still hitting 25 watts. And with the user FT100D and the AM mode. And so there you go. I couldn't figure out how to make a single sideband and any safety carrier, but that's my... Anyway, so that's the story there. Anyway, so it's over to NU6F. Wait a minute, NU6F and 6 Bravo Charlie Tango.
Okay, Bill, good copy again. So, well, it's nice not to have to strain and listen, although, as Dave and I were saying, on a two-handed RAL, it's constantly writing the game, you name it. But anyhow, well, good copy on all. Henry, okay, on the sloper out the window and the pixel loop that is milling 7 megs of spectrum. I guess that's pretty well. I've never had one of those, pixel loops, or come to think of it, any loop. I've never used a loop, so there you go. But I know from what all the reports were, I thought it was, the pickup loop itself has almost got no frequency response characteristics. It's so small for any wavelength, and it's all just gain. And you think, broadband equalized flat gain amp is pretty simple nowadays. So, oh well. And let's see, Bill, Wild Wild West, your 25 watts, and Dave, okay, the range slacked off. Yeah, I talked to, I forgot his name now, your neighbor down the road here earlier this week, and he said, yeah, I know Dave, I drive by I live down the block, I drive by his house almost every day, and I see his antenna up there. Anyhow, that was on 40 CW, I was talking to him. And then Chuck, okay, on Carla's transmitter, but at least you guys are using your community property ARR7 receiver, so I'm glad you guys are cooperating. And Mike, the lower sideband, upper sideband battle, way up at the top of the band. Yeah, there you go. I got both sidebands on transmits, and I'll receive. I hear both sidebands and carrier, and everybody else's sidebands and carrier within 20 kc. Steve, 42 in the shack. Wow. Okay, I think you probably win the you win the contest for shack temperature being the lowest. And Andy, yeah, copied you in there. The maybe you can bang on that mic. And speaking of the mic, on I don't know, this TDE really likes this carbon mic. It sounds pretty decent, and nothing special. It's a T17 mic that's got one of the button elements from Western Electric phone, and yeah, I haven't tried any other mic on it, so I'm not about to go ahead and play with it. And Robert, the Black Wrinkle Twins, the 610 and the HRO sound fine. Yeah, with that, I will pass it down to Livermore, W6MQI, and U6F.
And U6F, W6MQI. Well, Ron, don't change anything, because the mic sounds fine. Nice and carbony. Carbony. I think I'm saying that right. Yeah, sounding really good. And good morning to Carla and Andy. Yep, bang that microphone. Yeah, it was just a touch on the weak side. Hopefully you got things figured out. And Robert, we missed you on the Cloudernet yesterday. But, yeah, all stations are sounding good. Well, let's see. Wednesday night. Yeah, I was stoked to be on the upper sideband with the GRC 106. All stations were, man, the conditions were unbelievable. Hearing everybody all around the country. And I tended to be a big hit on 75 meters. I had pretty much half of the band come down on my sorry butt. Yeah, rightfully so. I got several emails. One of them was pictures of a spectrum scope showing my 60 kilohertz wide single sideband transmission. Beautiful. I tell you, these GRC 106s produce more. A mere mortal man shouldn't have to put up with all this stuff. That's what I guess I should say. So I put the units back on the bench, try to look at it. Looked at the spectrum scope on AM. Looks pretty good. CW looks pretty good. I got a single sideband and the radio just goes berserk. And I'm not quite sure why. So I thought maybe I was overdriving the amplifier. There's some, what I think are these PPC and APC adjustments. I tried reading the manual. Most of it went right over my head. So I was thinking maybe those were out of whack. So I tried adjusting those per the manual and made no difference. In fact, I wasn't even able to adjust them per the manual. So I was thinking, well, maybe there's something wrong with the amplifier. I'm not getting the right signals back to the RT unit. So I grabbed my other amplifier, which was in working order when I put it on the shelf, hooked it all up, and it wouldn't turn on. Completely dead. I don't know, man. How much abuse can I take? It's just one thing after another. So I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with single sideband, why it's doing what it's doing. But it's above my pay grade, and I don't know which way to go. So that's where I'm at with those things. I was really bummed out. I really wanted to partake in that upper sideband net, but looks like it's not going to happen. But other than that, things are beautiful. So I'll send it over to, who's next here? Chuck, K0DWC, W6MQI.
Okay, Dave. I was going to ask you what had happened because I heard a little bit of it Wednesday, but didn't have any idea that it was, I guess what they were saying, it was splattering or something. But I'll tell you what, you sounded great here. And there for a little bit, it was me, you, and Mike. And then Jim Beeler came on, and then some of the other fellows came on, and then I heard you go QRT. So don't give up on that net because it's kind of a fun net. The structure is there's not a whole lot of structure to it, but to me anyway, it's a fun net. And you know, Jim's a good guy and all, and the guys that check in are nice fellas. So I would urge you not to give up on it, though. I'm going to try to keep checking into it on Wednesday nights with my little PRC 74. I was able to reach that guy in Colorado on 5 watts, and it was Colorado Springs is where he was, and that's 1,100 miles from Dayton. Actually, it's 1,104 miles from Dayton. But and I know it's sideman. I know that you can do that, but getting that on a few watts, that just kind of tickled me a little bit. So that was kind of a new personal record for me. The previous record for me with this little man pack was 640 miles. I almost doubled it Wednesday with the contact in Colorado Springs. So I was kind of tickled. I had a fun time on Wednesday. So hopefully you'll be able to get that figured out, or check in with something else, Dave. That would be cool too. Maybe you can use. I think we have a man pack that could go on upper side man that you can check in with. Maybe you can comment on that next time around. But anyway, good morning to Paula, Andy, and Robert. Yeah, Andy had a big carrier here, but just a little bit puny on the rod, and hopefully he probably got it figured out. But I did hear him, but he was down quite a bit. But I'm sure he'll get it figured out. And Ron, thanks for the emails and stuff on the TDE. That was really interesting stuff. I saved it in my important section of my notepad, so I can go back to it and periodically look at it and watch the YouTube videos. So thank you for that. And yeah, that schematic was awesome looking. You really did a good job on that, man. I mean, a great job. But I like the YouTube videos and stuff. But you blew past the TDE pretty quick, you know, to get to the motor generator, and I got a good look at that motor generator, but I got just a whisper of a look at the TDE as you went by. What little bit I saw of it looked pretty impressive. So, you know, good job all the way around on that. And I agree with Dave. I think you should leave the microphone alone. He's sounding really good with a good, strong signal. So, a tip of the hat to you on that project. That's really good. I'm glad you're getting confidence, you know, in running that thing now. So it's a rare setup, and definite congratulations are in order. And let's see, one last thing here. Robert, the BC610 THRO, you got a nice clear signal into Dayton this morning. 100% copy, no problem with the audio whatsoever. So, and everybody else is just hammering in here. Everybody, Mike, Steve, Richard. Of course, Henry's king of the hill, but Henry's only 1.5 miles away. So, big signal from Henry this morning. So anyway, Mike, we'll hand it back over to you with that nice Bendix TA12 and RA1 receiver. I'm jealous. I can't remember. Is that a 40-watt station or a 100-watt station? I kind of think it might be a 40-watt station, but maybe you can enlighten me. W7MS. To take it in the group, this is K0 DWC.
Well, thank you, Chuck. Great reception from all, but, you know, an exception for Andy, and hopefully we'll be able to pull him through in the next round. And there was also a coincident adjacent frequency activity coincident with his transmission. It just one of those things. So W7MS, to make it official. Yeah, the TA12 is running 50 watts a carrier at 100% modulation, or maybe even exceeding that. I do have pearls on the scope, but let's see if somebody plus or minus 60 kilohertz complains of splatter. We'll have to see, but I think we're doing okay. But on her ART13, as has already been mentioned, and good morning, Andy. Hoping for a Q5 on the next round, and good morning, Robert. Good reception from Oregon there, from Oregon. And Henry, interesting to see how you kind of have a suck out there on the shielded magnetic loop. Interesting observation, but I guess the next step is it you or is it the loops in general? It's interesting observation because you think it's from a gain, you know, you would expect it to be relatively flat, as Ron had mentioned, because it's essentially there's nothing there. It's that should affect frequency response, let's say, especially in such a dramatic way. Well, we'll be staying tuned for further details on that. And yeah, Ron sounded great on the TDE. I guess he's wrapping that up. And of course, a reminder to Ron, I did offer that 500 kilohertz Z4 filter, and you know you're just too shy. So don't be shy. Look a gift horse in the mouth, please. But so you can get on lower sideband on the PRC-47. And yeah, comments for Dave. When you were saying you were trying the new microphone, you were at super hot audio. You thought maybe I was just commenting on the background noise of the blowers in the amplifier, but it was pronounced extremely loud. Your audio was really, really hot with microphone 1, and you sounded better single receive frequency on microphone number 2, and that's of course when the entire community suddenly jumped on and were you got the heads up on your splatter issue. And if I was to offer free unsolicited advice, you've already covered that. You hit the pots and the handshaking lines between the two, and you came up with no answer or no negative results, that everything seems to be working in that area. So I guess, yeah, we will hear you again, and looking forward to an upper sideband signal on 75 on Wednesday sometime in the near future. And Chuck, yeah, it was great to hear you. It was good reception, you know, maybe a combination of ground skywave, or more skywave than ground that time of night. But you were doing just fine with the pack set. And Richard, doing well. I know it's the same old boring stuff, but I also know within your collection of radios, you've got truly exciting stuff. But this is your go-to AM station for Sunday morning. And Steve, yeah, he definitely wins the Chili Shack award today. That's I was rather surprised with that weather report, internal weather report. And of course, great to hear Carla. Excellent modulation as always. And that ties me into the frying pan. What's for breakfast this morning? But maybe that's a sore subject. Maybe it's just going to be a bowl of Cheerios for Chuck. And Andy, awaiting further further transmissions. Robert, again, the BC610F was sounding mighty fine. So we'll hand this off. We'll hand this mighty 50 watts of carrier off to Richard, W6AWO, W7MS.
Well, that 50 watts is making itself known. W7MS, W6AWO. Very good signal. And yes, dull and boring, but you know, I like them. Okay, I've said it. And I guess maybe the point of the whole thing is to enjoy what you got. So that, as one of our esteemed members would say, that's the story here. And that pixel loop, interesting, Henry. I have one here that I use with the software-defined receiver I have upstairs. And yeah, I don't observe what you observe, but you know, it's certainly not a super performer on HF. Where it really shines is in low frequency and medium frequency for me. That's where I do my beacon hunting. So don't know what that tells us. Robert, HROW, good on you. And if you had been here, I believe it was last week, there would have been another HROW. I think I've got that right. And Steve, you're going to tell me in a minute or two, but I believe you have the HROW from our colleague's estate. And that all puts me in mind of the HRO5 that I have on the shelf out at the RCA site. And there's been a couple of people who have posted videos about those receivers, and I thought, well, maybe it's time to take that one home and actually take a look inside. You know, I don't think I ever have in the decades since, and many decades since I got it. But it's always just performed so well. So, Steve, going to send it on over to you, W6SSP, W6AWO.
Okay, Richard, very good. And good morning, Carla, and Robert, and Andy. Good to hear you guys on. Boy, conditions are really good today. I turned on the receiver about a little before 7 o'clock, and the noise level was very, very high. All of a sudden, it went away, and it remains on, so it's very, very nice operating conditions here today for a change. And yeah, Richard, last weekend I was using an HRO Senior from 1935. Which is about 10 years older than the HROW, which is about 3 feet from me. I also have an HRO5. And yeah, dig yours out. That has got to be one of the easiest receivers to restore electrically. Just a really nice layout, open layout. Everything's right there, and you probably have the thing restored in about an hour or so. No kidding. Pretty neat. And Henry, yeah, talking about your pixel loop, that is a really unusual problem, that there's a hole in the frequency range. It's just really odd. And it reminds me of something we had up at Hewlett-Packard here. We had an antenna range, actually a large outside range and an inside range, which was anechoic chamber / Faraday cage. And I'll tell you, both of those were really fun to play with. Some of us hams would occasionally cobble together an antenna and bring it in there on a weekend and characterize our antennas and get printouts of them and gain and loss figures, and very accurately. Pretty neat. Sounds like you could use one of those, Henry. And Dave, Mr. Persistence. I think 99% of the people would have given up on your GRC 106 Perfect a long time ago. And kind of reminds me of Tom's B&W transmitter, 5100, that was the bad seed. Well, I think we ought to give your GRC 106 similar name, Bad Seed 2.0. Anyway, interesting stuff. Nice mix of equipment again today, as usual. Projects here this week have been mostly thin machines, on those projects. And I did get back onto the PNK transmitter using a 45 probe. Found the last few parts I needed for that, vintage parts, and drilled holes in the lock slab. And it's coming together nicely, so that should be done by the middle of the week. Maybe even try it on the air, we'll see. So, okay, over to the next person, which is Carla. Good morning, Carla. W4DVQ, W6SSP.
Okay, W6SSP. This is Whiskey 4 Delta Victor Quebec. Well, good morning, Steve. Good morning, Andy. Good morning, Robert. And Tom, OPE, if you're listening, good morning to you. Miss hearing your voice. But, yeah, Mike, I'm getting ready to start breakfast. I want to make some eggs and bacon and some toast with jelly and butter. And I got the coffee going. I was thinking about building a fire this morning in the wood stove. I tell you, I'm ready for spring. This cold is just in my bones, and I can't seem to get rid of it. But I guess Chuck will get a freebie on my radio or my transmitter this morning since I'm using it as well. So, and I'm using his stuff. So, anywho, let's see. Ron, yeah, I saw that stuff you sent Chuck yesterday. Wow. Y'all got a lot in common. He used to do blueprints and everything when I met him at the race shop. And I was always amazed how you guys can do that kind of stuff. I'd be lost. Kind of like Dave with that radio. And I guess you're going to be walking way around us at Brad's next swap meet. You're not even going to come close to us. But I'm sorry for all your hard work and everything on that. But you're getting there, and you ain't gave up. And so, hang in there. It's bound to get better, maybe. But, okay, enough with that. I'm going to go start breakfast, so I'm going to thanks, guys, for listening to me this morning. I want to hand it over to Andy. KD6, TKX to take it. This is Whiskey 4 Delta Victor Quebec. 73, guys.
Okay, Carla, W4 DVQ in the group. This is KD6 TKX. On and over, Henry. Is it? Can you hear me okay now?
Yeah, you're coming. Yeah, you're coming in very good. Sorry about the voice. Wasn't prepared for that. Back to you, Andy.
That's part of the net control readiness plan. You did very well, give an A+. So good morning, everybody, and good to be here and hear all my friends out there, catch up on stuff. I'm running the Collins TCB1 here, and the audio problem was a dead battery in the D104. So I think that was a band in the 90s, but I'm not sure. So that was an easy fix, but we'll see what else happens here, if anything. Hopefully nothing. Ron, first and foremost, congratulations on the TDE. Great work, and anyone that goes to the trouble of, using an authentic motor generator, gets a huge salute, tip of the hat from me. And it's really great as the previous owner of that transmitter to know that it's so much better off there than it was in my storage locker. So really, really happy about it, and appreciate the pictures and everything too. Dave, the 106, unbelievable, man. Might I suggest, not that big of a tech, but on something with radios like that, I try a range test. That's where you take it down to the range, and you see how many rounds you have to pump into it before you have a smile on your face. Like, that's only as a last station effort, because they normally, they don't work too good after that one. But you feel good, so we'll see what happens there. Good morning to Chuck and Carl. Both you guys sounded great here. A little hungry listening to the description of breakfast, but, I'll get over it maybe. Matt, TA12 sounding great, and love that RA1 too. I'll find one of those someday with those. I always think of it as the main receiver. Richard blasting in, good to hear you. Steve also blasting in, and Robert on the 610F. Sounds great. I don't know if I've heard that before. I probably haven't, but it sounds really good. So let's see what's going on here. Well, there'd be too much to update if I did it all, but we got hit pretty hard by that storm. My little normally dry creek raised way up. I would never have believed it would be possible, but got so high it was threatening to come into the house up to the house level, which is quite a ways. So I was just amazed at that. But anyways, no lasting problems except for my internet connection works once in a while now, but hopefully they'll be here this coming week to fix that. But everything else is fine. My well was actually submerged by about 4 feet for 2 days. If you think about a well being underwater, it just kind of messes with your mind because it's not supposed to be that way. The well's supposed to bring the water. But thankfully, the night before I had tapped it and disconnected everything, so just had to dig out the remains after the water receded, and it was working, so that was a good thing too. Finally bought a pickup truck, so that's getting delivered today. That's exciting for me because I've been at this ranch since 2016 with no pickup truck, and I don't know what's wrong with me. Well, I know there's a lot, but the pickup truck part that was wrong is now getting repaired. Radio stuff's been happening as a normal pace, and getting back into classic motorcycles, that's happening. And thanks to Jeff, W6ZBX, on an email alert yesterday, I picked up a set of RBM receivers in their transport case proper for the TBW transmitter, which I got at the last Brad swap meet, which is really nice. Got all the cases and everything. So now I'll have the receivers in their case. I've got the dynamotor in its case. The last piece of the TBW puzzle, which has a lot of pieces, is the LM frequency meter watertight case. So I'll start looking for that. But I'm not going to complain. It's really hard to find those receiver cases, and this one's really nice, and matching serial number of receivers, etc. No legs, which is typical, but I'm not complaining. Okay, so that's my go-around. And my absence on the net, I have to apologize. It's just getting up early is hard for me because I stay up late. And I'm a night owl by nature, and in retirement, I just do what I want, for the most part anyways, and that usually involves staying up later. But anyways, it's really good to be here and to hear everybody on the net. So up to you, Robert, W7MKA, and the group. This is KD6TKX.
WA6 Juliet Kilowatt November, good morning. Good signal there, Andy.
Stand by, Kevin. You're going to be number 12. Robert, we'll turn it over to you. So W7MKA, turn it over to WA6JKN when you're done. Kevin, turn it back to me, WA7YBS. Go ahead, Robert.
All right. WA7YBS and the group W7MKA. Well, good signals all around. I think I got everything that time. Just going through a couple of notes here, Ron. Okay on the TDE sounding good, but okay on the two-handed operation with an RAL. And we know how that goes. I have one that got from Jerry, JRY, I used to use frequently with our local group. And so we have widely differing signal levels, including a friend that lived a mile and a half away and was running the legal limit with a big T4 FRT. So it sent me diving for the gain control many times. especially with headphones. And okay on the Wednesday night net and the GRC 106, I missed out on that. I'm going to have to make that, put that on the calendar more often. I used to be somewhat regular checking in, but we're kind of limited on the military sideband gear. Really only have one, and so I guess I just got bored with using the same radio all the time. But it was fun. I'm ready for spring, and my wife has frequently said that to me recently. I'm like, well, I think we got another month or so. Remind her about all the big snowstorms we had that come about the 20-something of February. So, but yeah, the last 2 days here were beautiful. It got up to maybe 50-something and sunny. We were out working on fixing a fence that had blown down, so couldn't have asked for better weather for that. And somebody's commented about the HRO. We've got just two of them here. This W, the Signal Corps version, and then a Navy RAS, and they must have been made just about the same year, because it was an RAS fur. It couldn't be more different under the chassis. I mean, the W's got all vitamin Q caps and all octal tubes, and really didn't have to do much to it. It's all got original parts, and but the RAS, on the other hand, is all the 6-pin tubes and the nastiest, leakiest wax caps under there. You know, really quite a bit. Some value engineering, I guess, went into that particular model, but they, you know, both working fine now. Well, I'm going to have to sign with this one and get ready for church here, but we will talk to you again next week. So up to Kevin. WA6K or JKN to take it, W7MKA 73.
Okay, very good. Signals aren't too strong here. Good morning to everyone. This is WA6JKN, Kevin and Gilroy. Hang on a second here. I'm going to drop it for a minute. Okay, I'm back. All right. Yeah, just like Andy, I don't know if I'm a night owl, but, you know, being retired and my hours are kind of shifted to a later period, so getting up really is not in the schedule. But I've been listening now for about a half hour, I think. Hang on a second, I gotta shut my door here in the shack. There we go. All right. Well, anyway, I'm on my solid state stuff here. The KW Sugar 1 is down, waiting for some parts that should come in next week or the week after. Henry probably appreciate this. The beryllium copper bands for the tuning rack. I made the mistake of putting a T connector on that back RF connector, you know, on the drivers there, because I was hooking up a digital display, and when the rack came down, it hit that T connector because it shifted from the position I put it in, so it wouldn't do that. And so when I was rotating the PTO, more affectionately known as the VFO, the rack hit it and broke one of the bands. So I was taking that band out, and the rack fell on one side, and it snapped the other band. So anyway, I have some replacements coming in next. I think it's about late next week. I hope I'll get the thing back on the air. I love that radio. The old KW Sugar 1 is I just love all the knobs on it. It's a beautiful looking transmitter. Well, that's it for me here. I think this is going to be my 73 round. I might be good for one more. I don't know, Henry, if this was the 73 round or not, but I've been listening for quite a while here, and boy, I'll tell you, it was a real treat to hear Carla in there. Carla, you're sounding good, and I'm glad I made it out here this morning. Just to hear you, because I know you haven't been on for a while. At least that's what I remember anyway. You know how the memories are. Okay, over to you, Henry. WA7YBS, WA6JKN.
Okay, Kevin. WA6JKN, WA7YBS. Okay. Yeah, the travails of the copper beryllium strips. Yeah, that's got to be an unusual failure. I haven't heard of that one before, but I don't know. They were using those types of things even on old Atwater Kents back in the late 20s. Copper beryllium belts on those. Of course, they riveted them to the pulleys, and that was a mistake. But at any rate, that and using pot metal pulleys, and then rivet the copper beryllium to the pot metal. Of course, the pot metal swells. There goes your belt. Anyway, well, engineering problems. What can you say? Well, let's see. We have Carla signed, 73 to Carla, and good to hear you in there. And Robert has signed, so 73 to Robert. And Kevin might be here and he might not. So Andy, when you turn it over to Kevin, we'll see if he's there. Everybody else is still here, so let's do the 73 round, and let's start with Bill. And Steve, you'll jump, and from Carla to Andy, and then Andy possibly to Kevin. And that ought to do it. Everybody else is still here. So, it's snowing here, by the way. Very lightly, but I looked out the door, and yes, it is snowing again. But it is very light, very dry, so we might scoot by here without too much problem. So up to Bill, down to Bill, over to Bill, N6BCT, 73 round to all. Go ahead, Bill, N6BCT, WA7YBS.
Everyone kind of been wiped out by some local interference from the background or something. I'm not sure. But anyway, he wasn't really strong. And I was with 25 pounds. Anyway, so that's everybody else was pretty good. Nicely. And that's the story there.
Okay, Bill, N6BCT and the shrinking group NU6F. Well, okay, good deal on copying all. Yeah, we got a heck of a lot of QSB now, and without AGC, I'm getting carpal tunnel on the sensitivity control to keep everybody about the same point. But like we're saying, we got no QRM. The band is quiet, and yeah, you're right, Henry. I grabbed another cup of coffee, and it's snowing out here also. And speaking of coffee, that's because the first cup of coffee spilled on the last go around, and on top of this microphone. So if it sounds different, you can let me know, but the needles are still moving about the same, coffee or not. And copper beryllium belts. I didn't realize that's what they were using for the traction devices on even on the Atwater Kents. Well, learn something new every day. And yeah, Richard, your tales of woe on antennas out there at the site, and then our compadre Tom, OPE, also with his legacy of the storm, and I did talk to him this week also, and yeah, it was one of those things that you know, I guess you've had that wooden mast up forever, and never an issue, and no idea of, well, someday I may want to work on that. Yeah, I guess that finally showed up, but yeah, hopefully his tilt-over idea works without causing any collateral damage on that deal. And Dave, I just checked on the rep. The neighbor I talked to that knew you, he's on the next street over. I don't know which one. Oh yeah, he's on Alden Lane. So I took a quick look on Google. I guess that's the next block over. And it's Pete, AB0WW. So, you know, you might want to look him up. And when you need some help on lowering that log periodic, why, you know, you need to knock on the neighbor's door. We did some antenna raising here yesterday on one of the neighbors in Old Lemon Valley. Miguel, WW7P, moved from his house down the block, the new house here, out to their older house where he can set up all those radios. And so we managed to get a dipole up in one of his big cottonwood trees. And yeah, my very first swing. I didn't have my swing shot. So I just swung the weight on the end of the twine 3 times over my head and right over the top. So he was tickled pink, got his radios back on the air there, and I had repaired his 2 Kenwood TL922 amps here a couple of months ago, and with some new 3500Zs, so he had a lot of bucks into those. So we were able to tune those up, and so he caught his net with his buddies down in L.A., so that was the antenna raising success there. I hope Tom has the same luck. And Chuck, I guess Carla is back at the cast iron skillet mobile in the kitchen, and thanks for the congrats on the TDE. Yes, I love hearing that whine in the background. More so than having wine in the glass. Mike, yeah, thanks for the 500 KC filter offer. You know, it's been a busy week here with Larry. I was in and out, and other stuff going on, but I will take you up on that. Thanks for the generous offer. And I guess Bob Noonan is looking from up above at you properly listening on the RA1. And of course, you're not out in the middle of the Pacific with nothing for a reference. I mean, Golden Valley, that's about as far away from their attempted landing spot than you could be. And Steve, okay, on the 45 tube transmitter, you know, all that open construction, it's amazing how many times we got shocked as youngsters playing around with our power supplies and radios and 6146s and TV transformers, 5U4s, blah, blah, blah. And Andy, yeah, the range test for poor Dave. Well, I'm guessing there's no way he'll have it beat. The 60 KC will be down to 2.7 KC loud, and he'll have to go to CW and wait for somebody to complain about his key clicks like me. All right, with that, I will pass on my 73s, and I'll pass it over to Dave. W6MQI, NU6F.
NU6F, W6MQI. Well, conditions are changing here. But before I forget about it, Ron, yes, I know Pete. I've talked with him several times. Back when I was commuting, I would talk to him on 2 meters and such. So, yeah, good guy. And I've worked him on CW a few times. I haven't talked to him in a while now, though. Every time I drive by, it looks pretty well boarded up. I know he got his pilot's license, and him and his wife have been flying all over the place. Good for them. So anyway, I forgot to mention that after I'd gotten tunnel vision talking about the Antichrist radio. So sorry about that. And yeah, Richard, I think you have the right idea with radios. Go with the boring, always works, like the ART-13, just never fails. And you have your sanity at the same time. And Andy, yeah, if it gets to that point, I'll let you know. That would be fun. That would be real fun. I got oh yeah. I might hit you up on that. Bring it down to the ranch and the cuts and booze and go at it. Oh boy. So anyway, and Chuck, tell Carla I have no animosity towards you guys. You're always welcome at the ranch here. So no big deal. And I do not have any other military radio that works on upper sideband. That was one of the deals with the 106. I wanted something I could get on upper sideband with, but unfortunately that's not happening. So, but I'll check into the net again using my race box, and we'll see how that goes. So, I think that's it here. Looking at my notes, I'm sure I'm forgetting something. Anyway, I'll say 73 guys, and go in there and see if the wife wants to walk down to the local breakfast place and get some breakfast. So we'll see what happens. 73, over to Chuck. K0DWC, W6MQI.
All right, Dave, W6MQI in the group K0DWC. Well, I'm glad that you still would want to check into that. It is fun to do, but it was unfortunate what happened, and all the trials and tribulations you've gone through with that damn thing, I had no idea, my friend, no idea at all. And I wasn't going to get into it, because I certainly wasn't qualified to do anything with that thing, but I appreciate the fact that you didn't give up on it. You hammered through it, and I think if you continue to be persistent about it, I think you'll probably nail down the problem that you had Wednesday. So keep plugging away. Keep plugging away. You have a great signal this morning, by the way. Everybody does, really. I did want to say good morning to Kevin. Kevin, you got a booming signal in as usual. And 7-3s to all who have signed. And Andy, your audio picked up 1,000% that time, and glad you're back. I know you were kind of off the air for a while there, I guess, but I guess you had troubles like all of us did, or most of us anyway, and you're getting them rectified. So I'm glad you're back up and on the air and on here Sunday mornings. Usually when I don't hear you on Sunday mornings, I figure you've been up all night doing CW maybe. But like you said, you're retired and you do what you want to do. So I definitely agree with that. I did want to say hi to Tom myself, WA60PD. I hope you're listening, Tom. We're missing you. And we're hoping that you'll be up and running again real soon, transmitting on that TCM, the big black label. And hope to hear you soon as well. So nice net this morning. Like Andy was saying, there's a lot of different equipment on, and that's always appreciated. And a big crowd this morning, so that's definitely appreciated. And we want to thank you guys, everybody, for being there and sharing all your thoughts and all your projects and stuff. So thank you for that. I guess I'll be net control next Sunday, and hopefully it won't be too cold. Henry can get back up to his shack in the house there and stay warm. So. Henry, we got to talk about that, man. We got to get you set up back upstairs again. Oh, okay, guys. I'll say my 7-3s, and again, thank you for being there, one and all. And we will send it over to Mike. Mike, I hope you'll try to check in Wednesday. I'm going to try to check in. I hope the conditions are good, and maybe Dave can too. So, for those of you who don't know, there's an upper sideband net on Wednesday nights at 8 o'clock, and it's normally on 3996 kilocycles. It's just, it's an upper sideband net, and it lasts for about, anywhere from 20 minutes to a half an hour. But it's fun to check in, so anybody that's interested. So anyway, I will send it down to Mike, W7MS. Mike at TA12 and RA1 are doing a beautiful job for you. Great job. W7MS in the group. This is KZN.
Well, thank you, Chuck. K0DWC and the Sunday Morning Military Net, W7MS. Yeah, and I forgot to mention, of course, I'm officially on dynamotor power on both the receiver and transmitter to get an extra point here with Henry as net control, hoping to vying for the Gold Star Award. No, but not really. But yeah, 7-3s to Bill. Yeah, fine run on all, and interesting because you've described your neighbor, amateur radio operator neighbor, is living in the new house but renting out the old house. But now he's made a swapola so he can operate ham radio. And glad to hear that he's still with us with those linear amplifier projects you worked on. That he's still a viable amateur operator. So that's always good news. And fine on all, and I was chuckling on some of the comments on the GRC 106 relative to Andy's comments about taking it to the range. All I have to do is remind Dave and Andy that if you do it, you've got to do a YouTube video. It's got to be on YouTube. You've got to document the visit to the range. But I think that's only tongue-in-cheek. And yeah, Chuck, we'll maybe show up Wednesday. It's kind of a joke with me. I show up so intermittently on Wednesday night for that Green Radio Net that they always go, "Who are you?" And it's some days during my intermittent, very spaced out check-ins to that Green Radio Net, somebody will actually remember who I am. That's an experiment in psychology and possibly aging memory, cognitive abilities of folks out there. But I just wanted to make a comment that, yeah, Mark in Colorado, that was KI0PF that was so diplomatic in handling the interaction with the lower sideband stations. He's also the author of Mil-Spec Radio Gear, Volume 1 and 2, that relates mostly to the green radio community. I've got both copies. So he is an authored authority and gets 4 gold stars for being such a diplomat and handling that contentious situation with the folks. And it was interesting how he had to explain to them that operating military radios in upper sideband was not illegal on 40 meters. These guys didn't have any clue, which also illustrated maybe the state of the knowledge base of quite a few amateur operators. But he did a good job on education and spreading the word. But Chuck and Carla, enjoy breakfast. Yeah, it doesn't get any better. And I'll run through here real quick. Andy, congratulations on the arrival of the new rig. And they're going to be official now. You're going to have a pickup truck on the ranch. So, I mean, what's next besides the vintage motorcycle arriving from the UK? But congratulations on that. And also, mucho better, Q5++ with a new battery in the D104. Glad to hear you. And also, good morning to Kevin. Nice to hear him if he's still listening. He's probably off for another cup of coffee, but maybe he's still in the rotation. And we'll be ready. Andy, on the next landing, he's going to be the official beach master. He's just about got the complete set. Possibly a bulldog and some in a pipe. I think then he could be beach master because he's just about got the complete set for the landing radio. So nice to hear that. Congratulations. So with that, 7-3s from Reno, over to Richard, W6AWO, W7MS.
Well, thank you, Mike. W7MS, W6AWO, Mr. QSV has arrived. So it's still 100% copy on everyone. And yeah, breakfast. This is usually our breakfast out day, and we skipped the last 2 weeks. So I can't wait. We're going to get out there. I've got my menu selections refined down to exactly what's wanted. I can almost taste it. And Andy, man, if it's not a new radio, it's a new motorcycle. If it's not a new motorcycle, it's a pickup truck. Dude, living the life, and looking forward to photographs of that pickup when it shows up. Missing Mr. OPE for sure. The problem with Tom is that he's probably, he's going to be too busy anyway, but we're not going to get photo documentation probably, or a YouTube video of the repair over there in Richmond. But sure do miss hearing Tom on the radio. And yeah, TV transformers, 807, 1625s. I mean, it's always amazed me how we lived. I'm encouraging parents today saying what you've connected to TV power transformers in series, and I mean, I just remember hearing that thing grunt when you hit the key, and the 1625 and the command set glowing red. Them's were the days. Well, 73 as usual with the esteemed group. Looking forward to next week, and I'm going to turn it over to Steve. W6SSP, W6AWO.
Okay, Richard. W6AWO, W6SSP. Hope y'all enjoy your breakfast dinner. It's tradition, I guess, with you guys. It's pretty neat. Yeah, boy, talking about TV transformers. I still have a bunch of them here that I probably salvaged out of a TV set when I was a teenager. Nothing is handier than TV transformers. They just had good ratings on them. Low power, medium power hand transmitters. Good stuff. Good stuff to hold on. And Andy, congratulations on your RBM receivers. Those are really cool. Those are some of my favorite receivers. And I've had, over the years, I've had several sets of them. And a TBW, a complete set of that also. But never had both of them at the same time. And I don't have any now. So, unfortunately. And the thing I like about those were the big ceramic switches with the big button contacts on them. The only thing I didn't like about the receivers were the soft aluminum cases, and I always got them out of shape. But hey, that's what they were, and they worked great when they worked. So I will say 73 to everybody. I'm going to head out to the cabin, fire up the potbelly stove, and maybe get some popcorn ready for, there's supposed to be a big football game on this afternoon, I hear, so I may get lazy and watch that. Over to Andy. Signs over to Andy. KB6 TKX, W6SSP 73.
W6SSP and the military group. Here is KB6 TKX. Excuse me just a second there. Let's see. Well, very good on all. And Dave, as they say, my range is your range. So, yeah, I'm just kidding. A lot of the range tests sometimes will take me through the dark moments of a project when it's not going my way. So I just consider it, and that brings a smile to my face. So, and no hazmat issues or whatever, but not that we have that out here anyways. I think we can accommodate, whatever's left in the range. Kind of shovel it into the hole next to the range, no problemo. And Chuck, good to hear you this morning. Thanks for the reminder on that net. I always forget. And it might be because the AMI net is on Wednesday. Not that I always check into that, but that's what I think of as radio on Wednesday. So I got to readjust my mind and get back on there. I enjoyed it when I've done it in the past. And Mike, your TA12 again sounded really good. Some QSB signals fading, but you're blasting in. And you have been officially added to points for dynamo operation. I'm prepared to issue a verbal commendation. So way to go. There it was. And yeah. But I think that Ron will be forever the leader in the motor generator operation world. The only other one I think I've heard in any time recently was OPE Tom was running his TBM on the MG set. So, and if you're listening, Tom, good morning to you. Get that antenna fixed. Happy to come up and help. Let me know. Richard, have a good breakfast. Great to hear you as well. And yep, always something new out here. Seems to be the deal. So no complaints there. And Steve, yeah, the RBMs, great receivers when they're working right. I had so many over the years that were not working right, and I had kind of a skewed opinion of them. But they, on the record right, they were good. Closer to later in life, I started repairing things wrong, particularly work. But looking forward to that. See, I think everybody else is fine, so I will pass on my 7 and wish everybody a great Sunday. And maybe, if I can do it again, I'll be here next Sunday. But yeah, same thing. And I'll turn it to Kevin, just in case he hasn't signed, and then I guess to go back to Net Control. Henry, thank you for running the show. WA6JKN Gilroy, this is KD6TKX.
Yeah, I'm here. Okay. Let me make sure I am not doubling. Stand by. Okay. Very good. All right. Thank you, Andy. Yeah, I was just, I couldn't remember the, what receiver the RBM was, and I looked it up on the internet, and I go, oh yeah, I remember that. I got one, it's in operation in my secondary shack. I don't think you can see it on my QRZ page. It's sitting off to the right. But it's in near mint condition. I forget who I picked it up from quite a number of years ago. And it came with the power supply, which was also in good shape, and the cables and whatnot. And it did have a problem with it. It seemed to me there was something wrong with the front end of the receiver. The capacitor or something like that. But once I got that fixed, the 80 meter band or 80 meter area was working really well. All the other bands seemed to work just fine. Now, if I remember, wasn't that just like an entertainment radio? Was it actually a tactical radio? I guess it could have been used as a tactical radio, but I could be mistaken on the purpose of what that radio was used for. I think it was troop entertainment, if I remember, but I could be wrong on that. All right, well, listen, 73 to everybody, and yes, Mike, you nailed it. I'm actually on my second cup of coffee. I'm actually half awake now. Yep. So, it's amazing. Do you have a spy camera in my hand back here, I wonder? Oh, you nailed it. I mean, as soon as I got the coffee, I sat down, you're making your transmission, and you're talking about my coffee that's in my hand. How about that? Yeah. Alrighty. Well, the TCS sounds really good there, Mike, and all the other rigs, the 106, interesting, bringing that down to the range. I was thinking about doing that with my ICOM radio. I was going to give that a good send-off at my daughter's gun range that she has on her ranch. The targets and all that kind of stuff, it's already, it came with the property when she bought the ranch. So I was thinking about bringing the ICOM 7610 down there and videotaping it just like Mike said, and use it as a target practice. My thinking is I saved so much money buying this solid-state amplifier that I had enough money left over to buy a K4 Delta, and that would make my shack an all-American shack, just like in the old Collins days. So the only thing that offsets everything here is the ICOM radio. So if I get rid of that and go with a K4D, then I can say it's all-American radios here, so I'm thinking about doing that. Nothing wrong with the 7610. I did have a display frame removed, but wouldn't that be something? That would really be a video to watch. All right, 73, have a good day. Give me some bad ideas there, I guess, Andy. Bring your stuff down to the range. All right, 73, Henry, thanks for doing a wonderful job as always, and have a great day, everybody. WA7YBS, WA6JKN is clear.
Okay, Kevin. WA6JKN, WA7YBS. Okay, very good on all. And 73 all the way around. And everybody have a good weekend coming up. I'll close the net here, the Vintage Military Radio Net. Chuck will be net control next week. Thanks for your participation, guys. And we hope to hear you next week, 73. This is WA7YBS closing the Vintage Military Radio Net and signing off.